Hello guys, welcome. This is Marv, Readings by Marvelous Madame Tarot, as well as the Moon Pools podcast. This one is going to be a doozy. This is going to be our overview right now. We're going to start out, guys, talking about what the penumbral lunar eclipse in Scorpio on May 5th means for you astrologically. Once I go into that, we're going to go into more depth about the eclipse itself. Then I'm going to break out in signs, giving you a little bit of where it's hitting you and a almost like a horoscope of sorts of how this could be affecting you. In between those two things, we're going to be talking about the 4 signs who may feel it the most, okay? And I do apologize for that ahead of time. If you hear any background music, I apologize for that. I have come in and I am no longer on my patio, but I am by a busy street. It is extremely busy. It will die down, so thank you so much. I'm telling you that this one is probably going to be a little bit longer than my normal intros. So with that being said, guys, if you do not want to listen to it, that's fine. You can definitely skip past the penumbral lunar eclipse in Scorpio meaning. You can go straight into a little bit more about the eclipse itself, which that's going to be time-stamped as the overview, or you can break out into the 12 signs. I am going to do it in the same format as I uploaded for the solar eclipse that took place. It is going to be a half audio, half video. Everything's going to be time-stamped, and I'm pretty sure this one is going to be over an hour. So if you're just sitting somewhere and you're listening and you don't mind listening to my raspiness, then let's go ahead and get started, okay? All right, so what the penumbral lunar eclipse in Scorpio on May 5th means for you astrologically. So it's that time again, moon and stargazers, okay? We will soon experience the beauty and wonder of a lunar eclipse. Yes, we will. Let me just increase this really quickly, guys, so I don't have to squint. Well, more the wonder versus the beauty. But we'll expand on that in a moment, guys. Specifically, it's a penumbral lunar eclipse, and it comes to us under the zodiac sign of Scorpio. While appearances may indicate that it is a far quieter celestial event than some of its eclipse counterparts, the penumbral lunar eclipse on May 5th has us astrologers excited for a number of reasons. It won't be visible to us at all here, guys, in the Western Hemisphere, but on some level of our consciousness, we will all feel the intensity of this potent lunar eclipse. It is a beautiful and powerful phenomenon. However, if you live in the United States, like the majority of us do, you will not be able to observe this eclipse in Scorpio at all. So why are we talking about it? Well, we're going to have this lunar eclipse on Friday, May 5th, arriving at 1:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, according to the forever trusty Farmer's Almanac. This particular lunar eclipse will be in the zodiac sign of Scorpio, positioned at 14 degrees and 48 seconds. All right? And as you guys know, we won't be able to see it, but the Farmer's Almanac tells us that it will be visible from the Antarctic Ocean, Oceanic, Australia, Asia, Europe, South Africa, Georgia, and the South Sandwich Islands. Sure, it sounds like the Denzians of North America are some of the only guests not invited to the party. Yeah, but c'est la vie. That's life. From my perspective, though, it still bears great significance regardless of whether we can see it or not, guys. You guys already know how I roll. So let's get into it. What is a penumbral lunar eclipse, and how is it different from the other types of eclipses? I thought you never asked me. Let's get into it. Let me just increase this. Sorry if you hear me clicking. All right, let's get started on this. So, the lunar eclipse, according to NASA, happens, as you guys know, when the sun and the earth and the moon align, thereby allowing the moon to pass in the earth's shadow. In the case of a total lunar eclipse, the whole moon passes through into the umbra, the darkest part of our planet's shadow, while a penumbral lunar eclipse sees the moon pass into the penumbra, which, as those knowledgeable in prefixes may have guessed, is the outer portion of the Earth's shadow. Okay? There are also partial lunar eclipses where the moon, surprise, only partially passes into the umbra. I'd recommend watching this video from the Lowell Observatory to see a solid illustration of how it works. And guys, I've actually watched those videos of NASA when they're like on for like 2-3 days and they're waiting on this to happen and they got cameras set up. Guys, it's actually pretty freaking cool. This type of lunar eclipse is often subtler, it's very subtle, and can be more difficult to observe. Lunar eclipses, of course, differ from solar eclipses, which are often what people think of when they hear the word eclipse, when the moon passes between the earth and the sun, causing the sun's light to be blocked out from our earthbound perspectives. Yes, these can be partial solar eclipses when the moon only blocks out a, you guessed it, portion of the sun's light. Total solar eclipses when the moon wholly blocks out the sun's light from view, and annular solar eclipses when the moon's orbit is more distant to the earth, causing the appearance of a ring around the moon. That is what we had the last time, and I didn't get into it, so I apologize for that. Now, with that being said, now that we know the difference, how does the lunar eclipse affect you astrologically speaking? And this is probably what you've heard plenty of people reporting on because it's a big deal, okay, for those of us who care. The period around eclipse, whether it is solar or lunar, is considered potent. This is true regardless of how visible it is, and even visible to our position on Earth at all. These are times when great change happens. And guys, it happens swift and unexpectedly. So these portals of consciousness can be life-changing, setting us on a completely different path than the one we have been walking. That said, eclipses are fairly common. And as you guys know, especially on my channel, they occur 4 to 5 times per year. With what's more is they are not always personal to you. Good news for those whose lives may have been thrown asunder amid the big sign shift transit of Pluto or the recent Mercury retrograde in Taurus and are finding themselves tired of change. There was a solar eclipse in this cycle on Thursday, April 20th at 12:13 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it was positioned at 29 degrees of Aries. I made a big deal about that because that 29 degrees is in the anaretic degree. If you had any experiences related to inserting yourself or learning to be selfish, in a positive, but your mask on before helping others kind of way, then this may have prompted an active eclipse time for you. Solar eclipses, such as the last one in Aries, tend to come at new beginnings and new opportunities, as they are, in my eyes, supercharged new moons. Lunar eclipses, on the other hand, can be seen more as a intense full moon, as what I like to call a full moon on steroids, therefore making them more about endings, releasings, letting go, or in some cases, having things being let go for us. Whether it's a positive, negative, bittersweet, or even totally uneventful time for you, it still is worth paying attention to how this moon will impact your circumstances, moods, and experiences. So, what is the astrological significance of the lunar eclipse in Scorpio? Well, Scorpio is the sign of deep feeling, secrecy, privacy, and ambition, which means that this penumbral lunar eclipse is going to be intense. Scorpio is the sign that the northern hemisphere heralds the season when things begin to die, or at least prepare to do so, as it is historically after farmers have harvested crops in Virgo and celebrated the autumn equinox in Libra. What's left in the field? Little other than rejects, and everything withers, which is one of the reasons why Scorpio is known as a sign of death, decay, and hardship. This does not have to be a negative thing, of course, guys. Without death, there's no life, and there's no new beginnings. So look at this time as a thoughtful time. Though you do not necessarily have to meditate, journal, manifest, or go into a trance to connect with the eclipse. It's not as subtle as it seems, even to those who can't physically observe it with their own eyes, and will make itself known. It is an important time for you guys. You will feel it, particularly if you have a planet at 12 to 16 degrees of a fixed sign, such as Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius. Eclipses exert powerful influence and usually manifest themselves as events in one's life, an unmistakable physical event, a decision, a person saying goodbye forever. I'm sorry to sound so morbid, but I have personally known individuals to be broken up with or have lost people during an eclipse, and they have been often very sad, scared to death, because 9 times out of 10 I've made some type of prediction. I have a little prediction club. And with those predictions, unfortunately, that has happened. I've done that. I don't particularly like that, but yes. So, but on the other hand, guys, the eclipses can also bring beauty and enlightening, okay? So as always, be kind to yourself, practice self-care, and we'll see you in the stars. Okay, let's get into our overview now. So this overview is going to go more into depth with the eclipse itself, give you some more details, get into Scorpio energy. So let's go ahead. Eclipse season isn't over until it's over. And so if you're still buzzing over last month's astrology, hang in there, guys, because the cosmos is just getting started. That being said, before discussing how this lunar eclipse in Scorpio will affect your sign, it's important to note that it will be the last time that we have one via this fixed water sign for another 8 years. So we will not have another eclipse in Scorpio, guys, for another 8 years. We're done with this one. So add 8 to your age. That's when we'll experience it again. And I don't know about you, but I plan on being in a much better situation, because I'm always looking to grow and expand. So whatever it is, I hope that you have what your heart desires by the time we experience this again. Now, the fact not only validates the potency of this lunar eclipse, but it also aligns with the south node of karma. Emotionally, this is a no-holds-barred eclipse, so reflect on what you're ready to release and transform. Residual energies that no longer serve us are falling away, and karmic cycles are being broken. Governed by Mars and Pluto, there isn't anything remotely subtle about Scorpio's polarizing presence. Now, I just told you in the eclipse intro, when we were talking about the prenumeral, it's considered, subtle from an astronomy or NASA's definition of what it is, which is crazy, but quite the contrary when we're talking about the fact that it's in Scorpio's energy. All planets are unique in their celestial expression, but this water sign's mystifying and intoxicatingly penetrating archetype is a perfect hybrid of both. The lightest light and the darkest dark, Scorpio assists us in processing and unraveling the deepest parts of our unconscious. This is where we come face to face with our shadows and are presented with the opportunity to evolve at a soul level. However, before rising from the ashes like the phoenix, there needs to be a death of the ego identified self. This is hardly a cakewalk, guys, but the essence of Scorpio can be equally as destructive, and it's equally destructive, but it also can be a good thing at the same time, because not all transformation is a bad thing. So don't be afraid to confront what comes to the surface at this time. Dominating the sky on May 5th at exactly 1:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this lunar eclipse, referred to, of course, as the penumbral eclipse, is, and we've already talked about that, but I put it here too, which is when the moon falls into the penumbral shadow of the earth, aka the outer shadow, and its luminosity becomes slightly dimmed. Leave it to the lunar eclipse in Scorpio to hide in the shadows, but don't be fooled by its lackluster and visibility. In addition to that close proximity, if I can read, to the south node, of course we know that lunar eclipses come with powerful endings and significant closures. Remember, this astrological phenomenon is notorious for ushering in life-altering changes and uncomfortable shakeups, but it's important to remember that it's all a part of the divine plan. I'm going to keep telling you that. Speaking of, the astrology of May's lunar eclipse is a bit chaotic, so let's take a closer look at what we're working with. So first and foremost, as per traditional astrology, the moon is in its fall when it's transiting the sign of Scorpio. You guys know the moon is in its fall, okay, there. Because it isn't a real ideal place for the moon, planet of nourishment, sustenance, and feelings to be. This makes it more difficult for the moon to fully own and express its emotions, especially when it's considering the intensity of the fixed water sign. Secondly, the eclipse is ruled by the Mars in Cancer. Here we go again, which is a place where the planet of assertion, energy, and passion is in its detriment. Mars can be emotionally volatile when swimming through Cancer's hypersensitive waters, and yes, it can be. So be sure to grab a tissue for the waterworks. Scorpio's modern ruler, Pluto, will also be retrograde in Aquarius, which continues to magnify the potency of the slow-moving planet. Mars will also be in harmony with the Sun, Uranus, and Mercury retrograde in Taurus. And though the influence of the change-maker planet adds to the surprise shakeups of the eclipse, this stellium in the security-seeking Taurus wants us to show up exactly as we are and own our truth in the process. This is especially true when considering themes surrounded around money, security, and value systems. Look at it this way. If your shadowy attachment has anything to do with toxic codependency or fear-based mentality around money that you've knowingly or unknowingly subscribed to, it's just being brought to the surface at this time. All right? Let's think back for a reference of January 2022, when the nodes of destiny first entered into the Taurus and Scorpio axis, which is also known as the axis of life and death, because obviously Scorpio is death, which means that the other side of that would be life. Obviously, with Taurus, we do know that the major arcana would be the Empress, and we know that the major arcana for Libra, which is another Venus ruled sign, is justice. So life, death, because the Empress is pregnant. Life and then death, okay? All right, so with that being said, we are about to break out inside of the all 12 signs. I hope that made sense to you. I'm going to be giving you this in a bit of a horoscope type of read, but within this paragraph will be where it is hitting you. If you are interested in reading, this is always on my website. If you go on my website right now, which I am clicking into, you will see on the May 2023 page, full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio on May 5th, and there is additional write-ups. That particular write-up on the website will give you a lunar eclipse of reflection, because I like to affirm and reflect. So that's that. But for now, let's get into the verbal part of this. So we're going to talk about now Aries and Aries rising. Under the influence of May's lunar eclipse in Scorpio, the shadowy attributes of your intimate partnerships are magnified. Mars, your fiery planet ruler, is also activating your first house of home, family, and innermost feelings, confirming the weight of your emotions at this time. Luna will sit across from the sun, Uranus and Mercury retrograde in Taurus, bringing forth the opportunity to break free from an unreliable source and or toxic comfort zone. Reflect on your sense of stability and the values you've unknowingly compromised for the sake of a significant other. You are whole all by yourself. And just to let you know that this is hitting you, give me 1 second. This should be in your 8th house. That's gonna be very powerful for you, Aries, because that is hitting you in your 8th house, and that is the house, obviously, of other people's money. I'm not gonna name all of the houses, but that's what is going on for you. We move on to Taurus and Taurus rising. Taurus, this eclipse is hitting you in your 7th house. Okay. Despite the unexpected shakeups that has forced your fixed personality to adapt, this eclipse story continues to bring you into balance. For instance, as this lunar eclipse charges up your relationship sector, sitting across from the sun, Uranus and Mercury in your sign, you are retracing your steps and coming into terms with the parts of yourself you've compromised to maintain a superficial connection. Have these commitments influenced your sense of security and individual freedom? And if it's no longer blooming in value to you, it's time to be honest with yourself, okay? And I think you know what that means. We move on to Gemini and Gemini rising. Gemini, this is hitting you in your 6th house. What really inspires you on a daily? Due to your potentially rocky nature of this eclipse, it would be best to surrender the pressures and or need for perfectionism. Shaking up your 6th house of health due to due diligence and service, while opposing the sun, Uranus and Mercury retrograde in your 12th house of unconscious patterns and all things behind the scenes. It may be a comfort zone for you to keep private or unconscious programming that justify the value of your daily efforts. But this energy is setting you free. Out with the old routine and in for the new, Gemini. Your peace of mind is worth it. We move on to Cancer and Cancer rising. Cancer, this eclipse is hitting you in your 5th house. Are you harboring resentment or does it go deeper? Reconnect with your inner child, as this lunar eclipse will bring awareness to the shadowy aspects of self-expression, as well as the areas where you may lack self-love, whether creatively or in terms of your desire for praise and recognition. Also, with the sun, Uranus and Mercury retrograde shaking up your 11th house of community affairs, it's important to be discerning with individuals you genuinely call friends versus social cliques you unknowingly attached yourself to for validation. Your shadow self-called, and it has something to say. All right, we move on to Leo and Leo rising. Leo, this is going to hit you in your 4th house. And courage comes from within, but that's the least of your worries right now. Charging up your 4th house of emotional foundations with family matters, May's lunar eclipse is bringing awareness to a darker attribute of your inner world. Whether it's in terms of your ancestral patterns or your innermost feelings, a part of your past is being eclipsed out, but it's setting you free in the process. Reflect on what validates your sense of authority and personal stability. You're rewriting this story, and you're doing it for your children's children, okay? We move on to Virgo and Virgo rising. Virgo, this is hitting you in the 3rd house, okay? The lunar eclipse activates your 3rd house of communication, sibling, neighbors, and immediate surroundings, unveiling truths that were unspoken and unconscious memories you hid away in your psyche. Sitting directly across from the sun, Uranus and Mercury retrograde, this could result in a unexpected epiphany regarding your belief system and or your personal philosophies. Also, with Mars charging your 11th house of community affairs, truths surrounding your ideas of sense of belonging in the world are illuminated. This is self-discovery, but on your own terms. We move on to Libra and Libra rising. Libra, this is hitting us in our second house, okay? You're becoming more aware of the shadow side of your energetic exchanges and intimate unions, but this lunar eclipse is here to set us free from whatever we have unconsciously attached ourselves to be it a toxic value system that we unknowingly committed to, or a fear of not being able to make ends meet without the help of a significant other. A low vibratory exchange is being eclipsed from your highest good. In the meantime, reflect on how you've unconsciously compromised your self-worth and a sense of authority. You are not the financial hardships of your past, Libra. Okay? And I'm telling you that, and I'm telling myself this. Marv, you are not the financial hardships of your past. I receive that. We move on to the star of the show, Scorpio and Scorpio rising. Of course, we know this is your eclipse, has your name on it, lovelies, so it's going to be hitting you in your first house. You're being guided to think back to the beginning of 2022 and reflect on the spiritual growth and transformation of your eclipse story. Shadow work is never easy, but this supercharged lunation is here to liberate you, Scorpio, and help you face your darker parts of your unconscious. Considering the Taurus stellium in your relationship sector, let alone with Mars in your expansive ninth house of self-discovery and Pluto via your fourth house of family, that you once valued in your personal what you once valued in your personal connections, or perhaps unknowingly depended on, is transforming, and not in ways you were expecting. You're breaking patterns that could have had a strong hold on you. So call on your ancestors for support. We move on to Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. Sagittarius, this is hitting you in your 12th house. Are your day-to-day investments still resonating with your soul's truth? Charging up your 12th house of surrender, healing, and unconscious patterns, this lunar eclipse is bringing awareness to the dark side of your energetic exchanges, power dynamics, and acts of service. On another note, Mars in Cancer is also highlighting the parts of your life that may lack nurture and nourishment and have led to your detriment. Remember, Mars in Cancer is in its fall. What are you no longer willing to sacrifice? Reflect on the driving force of your habits, rituals, and routines. Your eclipse story speaks to the energies you've unknowingly repressed and hid behind the scenes. We move on to Capricorn and Capricorn rising. Capricorn, this is hitting you in your 11th house. How have you been unconsciously dependent on the approval of others when it comes to living in your truth? Igniting your socially conscious 11th house of community affairs and individual freedom. This lunar eclipse continues to highlight the shadowy undercurrents of your social surroundings and how your desire for a sense of belonging may have turned toxic over time. Whether a personal or professionally, an unexpected shakeup brings awareness to the security or lack thereof around your self-expression. A social identity you falsely portrayed is being eclipsed, and it is setting you free. We move on to Aquarius and Aquarius rising. If you've been feeling inhibited or energetically depleted in regards to your sense of authority, this lunar eclipse is bringing you back into balance. In the meantime, Aqua, reflect on your definition of success and notoriety. Aqua, this is hitting you in your 10th house. Okay? Does it stem from childhood or a prominent figure in your family? Sitting directly across from the stellium of planets that are in Taurus, this is an opportunity for you to go within and reconnect with your personal value systems. Trigger warning. But if you've unconsciously subscribed to a superficial image for the sake of financial security, the shadowy truth will be undeniable. And finally, we move on to Pisces and Pisces rising. This is hitting you in your 9th house, Pisces. Is your philosophy authentic to you, or are you attached to an illusion? Well, I don't think we need to ask that, because you're ruled by the planet of illusion. Most people don't know the real reason why you wear rose-colored glasses. And it mainly stems from your fear of harsh realities. However, touching down in your 9th house of expansion, adventure, and self-discovery, this last lunar eclipse in Scorpio is here to transmute pain into power. But it will likely be the result of an unexpected perspective shift. This is especially true for those of you who unknowingly choose to find comfort in the worst case scenario for the sake of a false sense of security. As always, the truth is setting you free, but it's up to you to choose the right path. And I do know a lot of Pisces that do that. They escape they try to rationalize and find comfort in the worst case scenario and come up with these illusionary perspectives that are not reality based. So this is going to be a beautiful eclipse for you, because it is here to transmute that pain into power. But I do hope that you have a lot of stronger, more grounded, I want to say planets in your natal birth chart that can help you. Good luck with that, Pisces. All right, guys, we're going to move on. I meant to wedge this in the middle of the sign by sign, but we're going to move on to the 4 zodiac signs who will feel the lunar eclipse in Scorpio of this month the most. We're currently in the throes of eclipse seasons, which is one reason why there's no shortage of drama. If you're feeling the cosmic whiplash already, then you might be one of the zodiac signs that's affected by the full moon lunar eclipse of this month most. After all, you're sitting right in the eye of the storm. Real talk. There's no reason really to be afraid of the eclipse, so don't allow the experience to fill you with dread. A lot of the times in astrology, the eclipses are open a karmic doorway for 28 days. During this time, anything, and I mean anything, can happen. After all, an eclipse can only occur when a full moon or a new moon takes place in either of the zodiac signs situated in the north node or the south node. While the north node signifies your future and ultimate destiny, the south node represents the energetic baggage of your past. And if your zodiac sign happens to be affected by an eclipse, it could evoke a sharp and unexpected turn in your life. If you're already feeling the weight of change, don't worry, the universe knows what it's doing. Sometimes the changes that take place during an eclipse can be massive and completely life-altering. Other times, the shift can be more subtle and internal, but also keenly felt. Regardless of this, guys, the upcoming tonal lunar eclipse will shake your reality in one way or another. So those 4 signs I already told you guys about. We're going to start with Taurus. Is there a person in your life that has been on your mind a lot lately? This person could either be your significant other, your best friend, your business partner, or even your arch nemesis. No matter who it is, the eclipse is encouraging you to evolve in your relationship with this person. If this person is less than ideal, you may be ready to part ways with someone due to a toxic dynamic you share. If the situation is going well, you may feel ready to further commit to the person. However, the energy of this eclipse may not be as cut and dry. Instead of a major relationship change, you may find that your perspective of relationships are shifting altogether. What can you do to improve the level of harmony that you share with others? What can you do to invite healthier and more mutually beneficial relationships into your life in the future? That is for Taurus and Taurus rising. This is hitting you in your 7th house, okay? We move on to Leo and Leo rising, and as I told you, this is hitting you in your 4th house. Has it been chaos and unpredictability brewing at your home? Are you outgrowing your current living situation and giving yourself space to plant new emotional roots? Because this lunar eclipse is taking place in your fourth house of home, family, and domestic affairs, it could be leading to you or embracing a big change in your living situation or family dynamic. Whether you're moving to a new city or welcoming a new person into the family, these changes are tied to so much pain, love, beauty, and laughter. So look back on how these shifts are healing your early childhood trauma. No matter what happens, these changes will create new possibilities down the line. The universe is simply bringing you closer to the type of home that you've always been searching for. And this is especially true. My brother actually just signed his lease for his new townhome. So this is very, very true. And with other Leos, it is hitting them a little bit more subtly, okay? But I think ultimately it's going to be a family dynamic for some of my Leo clients, and the other ones are moving, all right? Scorpio, of course, it's going to affect you the most. This is your eclipse. You know that that's hitting you in your first house. You're sitting right at the center of this eclipse. This means the spotlight is on you. Even if you're not in the mood for all of the attention, because you know you don't like nobody in your business, this is bringing you attention, and you have to admit that your spark is lighting quite a fire. This eclipse is bringing you to the brink of change as it pushes you out of your comfort zone and forces you, Scorp Collective, to make waves. You might do something completely unpredictable or experience something totally unexpected. When an eclipse takes place in your zodiac sign, it always means you're reaching for a personal milestone. However, reaching the end of one chapter also means that you're starting the next. Give yourself time to gather your bearings during the next leg of your life journey, okay? And finally, we do have Aquarius and Aquarius rising. This is hitting you in your 10th house, and then I have an outro for you guys. Have you been feeling antsy in your career lately? Or are you outgrowing your current position and feeling that you're ready for something new? Because this lunar eclipse is taking place in your 10th house of career, it could lead you to trying something completely different at work. You may put out a press release that shocks your friends, followers, and fans. You may even surprise the world by changing career paths, accepting a promotion, or leaving a job that no one was expecting you to part ways with. No matter what happens, it will open the door to so many opportunities in the future. The universe is bringing you closer to the type of career you were always meant for. All right? And in my outro, I just want to give you about all of the zodiac signs and what it may do to everybody. So, emotionally, this is going to be a strong eclipse for the following zodiac signs. It's going to be a strong emotional needs, possibilities with major positive energies. If you are a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Virgo, and Capricorn. Yes, it's going to be strong for you guys, but if you embrace the energy, it can have many positive possibilities, all right? I also feel like this next category, Scorpio, you're down here as well. Growth, change, emotional waves, and potential challenges. Taurus, Cancer, Aquarius, and Leo, all four of you, okay? Balancing energy with major transformative properties. Aries, Gemini, Libra, and Sagittarius. And positive changes, but conflicts in your romantic relationships. I, again, feel like it's all four of the fixed signs, okay? I feel like it is all Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio. All four of you, okay? So that should have covered everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this and allowing me to give you as the old timers say, put some fat on your head about what's going on. And I will see you in your actual moon pools. I am not going to be doing that crazy deck that I used the last time. I wasn't happy with it. I'm going to be using the Spirit Junkie deck, and we're just going to be pulling a personal, inspirational meaning for each one of you guys, because I feel like this one is so heavy that is needed. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you in your video. Hello guys, welcome to the channel. As promised, this is going to be the moon pools. I hope that you enjoyed your audio version of this video, really breaking down the eclipse, the difference between lunar, solar, partial, annular, and prenumeral. I wanted to get a little technical, not just talk about the eclipse itself. It is a big deal, but this is going to be the moon pools. That other deck that I got, I wasn't a fan of it. And I really, because I have so many things going on, so many projects at once, I really should be using my own decks. They are in production. They are not done yet. I did handcraft a deck for this because I know what I want my cards to say. But I support small business, and that one I wasn't happy about. So let's get into this. This one is going to be very, very quick. All right, very, very, very quickly we're going to get through. And I do have where it's hitting everybody. I'm just going to tell you where it's hitting you and pull a Spirit Junkie card. Now, this is not a tarot card. It is basically a positive affirmation deck. These cards were created, let me read her blurb, to remind each of you that you can let go of fear and self-doubt and choose love instead. Each message will bring you back to the truth that you can find grace in every challenge, that miracles are available to you in every moment, and that you already have everything you need within you to shine. All right? This is the Spirit Junkie. We're going to start with Aries and Aries rising, and you guys got the card of shine. The more I honor the inner light, the more I brighten the world, I choose to shine. Again, the more I honor my inner light, the more I brighten the world, I choose to shine. This is your lunar eclipse in Scorpio card, and this eclipse is hitting you in your 8th house. This is for Taurus. Taurus rising. Taurus, this eclipse is hitting you in your 7th house. My productivity stems from inspiration. When I focus on what brings me joy, my task becomes effortless actions. My productivity stems from inspiration. When I focus on what brings me joy, my tasks become effortless actions. Apply this to your 7th house, Taurus. Okay? We move on to Gemini and Gemini rising. Gems, this is hitting you in your 6th house. These are not the greatest to... There we go. There we go. I'm just going to shuffle. There we go. I release my need to be right. I am defenseless and I am at peace. At work, in your 6th house dealings, I release my need to be right. I am defenseless and at peace. All right. We move on to Cancer and Cancer rising. Cancer, this is hitting you in your 5th house. In your 5th house. In your 5th house. And you got, I breathe calmly and easily. I am safe in this moment. In your 5th house dealings, I breathe calmly and easily. I am safe in this moment. Beautiful. We move on to Leo and Leo rising. Leo, this is hitting you in your 4th house. I welcome healthy, loving relationships in the home sector. In your 4th house dealings, I welcome healthy, loving relationships for Leo and Leo rising. And that's with everybody. And I know that for some of you guys, you have to cut away from people that no longer serve you, Leo. All right? This is for Virgo and Virgo rising. Virgo, this is hitting you in your third house. Uh-oh. Too many. I am committed to bringing forth my greatness. I will no longer play small. Okay, now. I love it. Third house dealings for Virgo and Virgo rising. Repeat after me. I am committed to bringing forth my greatness. I will no longer play small. I love that. Uh-oh, that wanted to come out. Libra and Libra rising. I can expand time when I'm inspired. I wish I had. Yes. Come on now. Libra Collective, this is hitting us in our second house. Okay, new ways of money. Old ways of attachments about making money and self-worth being eclipsed out. And now we have I can expand time when I'm inspired. Aren't we creative? You better own it. Repeat after me in your second house dealings. I can expand time when I'm inspired. I love that. Scorpio, this one got your name on it. This is in your first house. This is your eclipse. All right? Your eclipse. Yours, okay? This is for Scorpio and Scorpio rising. It's safe to ask for help. People want to support me. You have to believe that about yourself. Scorpio, in this eclipse, count on someone. Rely on someone. It is safe to ask for help. People want to support you, Scorpio. Repeat after me. It's safe to ask for help. People want to support me. In your first house dealings, in your eclipse, no matter how bad, someone wants to support you. Beautiful. We move on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius rising. Sag, you are going through 12th house stuff right now. All right? 12th house. Every cell in my body is conscious and communicates with each positive thought that I have. I repeat, every cell in my body is conscious and communicates with each positive thought that I have. This is gorgeous in your 12th house dealings. Repeat after me. Every cell in my body is conscious and communicates with each positive thought that I have. Beautiful, beautiful energy. I love these. Capricorn, this is an 11th house story for you. Capricorn, suns and risings. What do we have for Cap? We have, there is no such thing as a mistake. Everything happens in divine order. I am being guided to learn and grow. What? There is no such thing as a mistake. Everything happens in divine order. I am being guided to learn and grow. Capricorn, in your 11th house dealings, well, you may have to cut somebody off. Let them be eclipsed out of your life. You say there is no such thing as a mistake. Everything in that 11th house dealings happens in divine order. And you, my darlings, are being guided to learn and grow. Myself as well as a Cap moon. We move on to Aquarius and Aquarius rising. Now I look right at Aquarius and say Taurus. You know that's crazy. Yeah, we got 3. All right, Aqua. This is hitting you in your 10th house. Attacking others is an attack on myself. Whoop, whoop. I need the wand for this. What? Attacking others is an attack on myself. I choose to release this now. Woo. In the job place, who are you attacking? Who are you angry at? Why are you angry with someone in the work front, in the job place? What is it about what they're doing that pisses you off? Do you not want someone to be over you? Do you feel like somebody? Let me know. Let me know. And repeat after me in your 10th house dealings. Attacking others is an attack on myself. I choose to release this now. I love it. I love that. And finally, we move on to Pisces and Pisces rising. This is a 9th house story for you, Pisces. What do we have for there? There we go. What do we got? Oh, we got 4. Or do we have 5? I think we have 5. Yep, we got 5. That's the one. All right, Pisces, what do we have in your 9th house story? When I see good in others, I acknowledge it out loud. Now, this is beautiful, and I love these cards. When I see good in others, I acknowledge it out loud. In your 9th house story, when you see good in others, I acknowledge it out loud. This is what you do. And if you haven't, let's start. When I see good in others, I acknowledge it out loud. Thank you so much, guys. I will try to do a short with these cards for you. This has been your pool for this lunar eclipse, full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. I wish you guys a beautiful, transformative eclipse. And if you need anything from me, we're going to be releasing. We got a lot of stuff to do. Let's release the false narratives about ourselves. Let's release the lies that we've been telling ourselves, okay? That's what we need to do. I encourage each one of you guys to go and watch your love reading. And by the time this weekend hits, they're going to go on sale even deeper than they already are. The love readings are $3.55 to purchase. They are over 10-minute videos, all right? A whole reading, all right? And there was an eclipse-inspired love reading. Go and check it out, all right? I will see you in the next one. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in your next week's video. Bye, guys.